Oh, didn't see you there. Hi everyone, my name is Abel. A game thought to be created by the Romans, one of the earliest forms of gambling, blackjack, also known as 21, is one of the most common card games, being played in casinos, homes, and wherever card games are played. According to ABC News, ranging from losing money to $15 million, one of the highest winnings in gambling history, the amount of money moved in this game is in the millions on a daily basis all around the world. Aside from the money won and lost in blackjack, this game is enjoyed by families as a simple but fun pastime. It's a rather simple game that holds both aspects of skill and resulting in a fun game for all ages. I began playing blackjack when I was in elementary school with my brother and sister. We learned from my aunt, who was a blackjack dealer in Las Vegas. It was a game I understood very well and was able to win at pretty consistently. Blackjack is a game that consists of adding and subtracting and anticipating different cards to eventually add up to 21 or get as close as possible. This is how it's played. According to Bicycle Cards, blackjack is a game that is usually played by 2 to 7 players, not including the dealer. In a professional or casino setting, a dealer will be who everyone in the game is trying to beat. In this speech, though, I will describe a more at-home style of playing. In most games of 21, there is not a set dealer present, so the dealer position will be rotated amongst the players in a clockwise fashion. The way the cards are dealt, it is passed out one card at a time to each player going clockwise. So, if there were 2 other players beside me, and I'm the dealer, I would first hand the card to player number 1, hand the second card to player number 2, and then can proceed to hand the third card to myself. And then I would repeat that. And once everyone has 2 cards, the dealing is complete. Once the cards are dealt, the dealer asks players what their next action is. This is called checking or hitting, most likely known as player actions. Players can choose to do multiple things when they have already been dealt their cards. A player can either initial bet, check, hit, double down, split, or surrender, otherwise known as folding. The initial bet is the bet a player must put in the pot to be able to play in the round. But in an at-home game, there's not as many initial bets or betting at all, honestly. Checking is an action that allows the player to sit with his or her cards because they believe they have a chance of winning with these cards. So I would proceed to look at my cards currently and decide to check. And through that knocking motion, it passes the action on to the next player beside me. So the player can get, hitting is requesting another card from the dealer so the player can get to or closer to 21. So if this player believes they have a good hand, or they need a little bit more to get to 21, and he's asking to hit, I would then proceed to show his cards to everybody. And at this point, he can either stop or request another card if he had not busted. Doubling down is a player increasing the initial bet up to 100%. In home games, though, this action is not used often. And splitting is an action that can only be done if both cards in a player's hands have the same value. That being, if it's an 8 and an 8 or a 10 and a 10, these hands can be split and they can proceed to have multiple actions on that same turn. Essentially, the final option is folding, which is essentially giving up. Folding is a player giving up so they don't lose 100% of their bet, or just so they don't waste time in an at-home game if they don't have a hand. There are many ways to win this game, but there are also a lot to lose as well. There are many ways to win, that being, winning in 21 can result in multiple people at the table winning or just one person at the table winning. The easiest way to win in 21 is actually hitting the number 21. So in this case, he started off with Jack 3 and proceeded to hit. Had this card been a 1, he would have 21 at this point, making him the winner, but he ended up hitting 2 face cards and a 3, putting two units over 21. And this form of losing is called busting, which is a player hitting 1 too many times and going over the required amount of 21. So in turn, 21 is a simple game that can be taught and broken up into 3 simple points. Those points being dealing cards, the actions that a player can take, and how to win and how to lose. So blackjack is a game that consists of adding and subtracting and anticipating different cards to eventually add up to 21 or get as close as possible. You may not be a pro now, but with a little bit of practice, you too can go to WinStar and hit big. Good night.